Hello viewers, Steve here, doing Anti-Film School's new 4-part series called Anti-Film School's Summer Movie Wrap-Up. That's right, the summer is over. No more alien battleships and superheroes and explosions and aliens and gross out comedies. That's all over with. It's all now Daniel Day-Lewis movies, Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Oscar. So, it's hard to believe it's over. Kind of bums me out, but I like the awards season movies too. Can't say I'm complaining too much. But basically what we're going to be doing is breaking down the months. This episode obviously is going to be May. I'm going to be breaking down the movies of that month, talking a little bit about each one, going back over my thoughts of them, and then rating the month, giving it a grade overall. What was the quality of films like in that month? So we're going to jump right into it here. May was sort of a meh month. There was one really, really great movie. Everything else, take it or leave it. May started out with a bang. The summer, I never really could live up to what the first, 3 weeks of May. Everything else in the wake of it seemed to be a disappointment. That movie that caused the big bang was The Avengers. Joss Whedon's The Avengers. Marvel's The Avengers. Everybody saw this movie. My 91-year-old grandmother saw this movie. Everybody has seen it. If you haven't seen it, what is wrong with you? It's awesome. It rocked. There's no other way to sum up this movie. It's awesome. That last hour of this movie kicked so much ass that you can't even put it into words. It's like a geek's ultimate dream. It is everything a comic book fan could want. It's everything a action fan could want. It's just everything you could want as a movie fan. It was really hard to hate this movie. If you hated this movie, you are a Scrooge. There's no doubt about it. Go watch. I don't know. I don't even know. I really don't know one person that hated this movie, so it's hard for me to be like, I don't know. I can't put you down because I don't know anybody that absolutely hated this movie. It rocked. It was a huge hit. It stayed #1 for 4 weeks. It made a ton of money, and nothing could live up to it. I mean, it was the first and last word of this summer. Mind you, I do think there was one movie that challenged it. That was The Dark Knight Rises. And I think a lot of people are reluctant to admit that, but it did. More on that in July, in part 3. But this movie was a juggernaut. What Warner Brothers threw at it in week 2 of May was Dark Shadows. Tim Burton's Dark Shadows. Dark Shadows was half a good movie, half a horrible movie. The first hour or so of Dark Shadows was incredible. It was everything you could hope for in a vampire movie. It was funny, it was dry, it was a little creepy, but the second half of this movie, we stopped for a brief performance from Alice Cooper in the middle, and then it was like Tim Burton checked out. He didn't care anymore, and it was terrible. The second half of this movie was awful. So, solid C, at least in my opinion. Johnny Depp rocked, but I just could not get my head around that action ending. It did not fit with the rest of the movie. It seemed like they had money to blow, so they were like, hey, let's blow some stuff up. Let's have some weird shape-shifting werewolf, and let's just spend money needlessly. It was really, really bad, the ending. If you can see the first hour of this movie, do it. Skip the second. But then we had Battleship, the big joke of the summer. But this movie actually is pretty good. I have to give this movie credit. Peter Berg did an incredible job bringing this to the big screen. I say incredible because this could have been a disaster at any point in time in this movie, and it never was too bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't average. It was a little above average. It was entertaining. I was entertained by it. I would say if you don't have anything to do on a Friday night and it's at your local Redbox, rent it. You'll be entertained. Taylor Kitsch is pretty good in it. Liam Neeson's pretty good in it. Rihanna's also in it. Yes, the same Rihanna that the R&B singer. Even she is okay in it. Believe it or not, this movie entertained me from beginning to end. I went in thinking I was going to hate it. I walked out kind of liking it. I would never need to see it again, but I'd say it's a solid B, B minus. Fun night, and you could do a lot worse, like the last hour of Dark Shadows worse. But neither of those two were able to give the Avengers a run for its money. Then Hollywood threw The Dictator, the new Sacha Baron Cohen comedy that hits DVD and Blu-ray today, Tuesday. This movie was nowhere near the quality of what he did in Borat and Bruno. It kind of stumbled a little bit. It was sort of funny, but he seemed a little bit dated with what he was trying to do here. I mean, I get the whole, be tolerant of everyone, give everybody a chance, despite their background. I just think this has been done to death. I think that he could have come up with something a little more clever than this. I mean, there were funny things about it, but it was never hilarious. It was never as sharp and just it didn't make you squirm like Borat and Bruno did and really say, oh man, we need to really take a look at ourselves, and it never had that impact. It's largely forgettable. If you're a Sacha Baron Cohen enthusiast, you could check it out. I would just say forget it and rent Hugo. It's a much better movie. But yeah, The Dictator was kind of a letdown. B minus, C plus. Maybe if you are a comedy enthusiast, you might love it, but I don't really see any need for you to check it out. The final two movies here rounding out May was Men in Black 3, the sequel that apparently a lot of people wanted. I didn't really think the second one was that good. I didn't think it warranted another movie, but apparently a lot of people wanted this. It was okay. It kind of dragged on. It was the same thing that you've seen in the other two, but people seem to love it. Really good performance from Jermaine Clement as the bad guy alien in it. He was really great, and so was Josh Brolin. But it's the typical performance from Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Doesn't really stand out. 3D was okay. Special effects were okay. But in the end, this movie didn't really do much for me. I'd say it's a solid C, C+. It just never really got off the ground, in my opinion. And I was kind of unmoved by it. Take it or leave it. But The last movie was Chernobyl Diaries. This was a movie I was actually sort of excited about, and I have to say I hated it. I hated this movie for the most part. There was a couple of things about it. Horrible acting, horrible dialogue. It's from the guy who does those Paranormal Activity movies. He produced and wrote it, Oren Pele. It was directed by Bradley Parker. It's got some really good overall direction to it. I thought the way they used the atmosphere of Pripyat was really cool. A lot of people say it was exploitive. I'd say more they would have done better with this if it would have been supernatural. I've heard the stories that Pripyat's haunted and there's a lot of strange things there, but they took The Hills Have Eyes route here, and it didn't fit. It wasn't the right choice. It just stumbled, and it kind of tried to be sort of like Paranormal Activity. It kind of has that style of like mockumentary, but it's not. But it kind of wants you to think it is. I didn't like this movie. It wasn't scary. It was just kind of annoying. They did do the one thing I liked and barely show you the mutant freaks. Spoiler alert. I mean, I can't really honestly recommend it. It was just really bad. It just took a really nifty location as far as I was concerned. I was really anxious to see how they would do this, and I kind of thought they'd pull it off. They didn't. It was really bad. Stay far, far away from it. It's just not a very good horror movie as far as I'm concerned. Not what I was looking for. But, yeah, so we have The Avengers, which was a solid A movie. I mean, it was great. Dark Shadows, very average. Battleship, surprisingly above average. The Dictator, a disappointment. Men in Black 3, if you're a Men in Black enthusiast, there you go. Chernobyl Diaries sucks. Stay away from it. Overall, I'd give May about a C+. It was an average month. The Avengers really kept it in the game. Otherwise, I think Hollywood was kind of slacking. I didn't see any of the art house movies. I tend to stay more to the big budget blockbusters in the summer. But overall, yeah, May, it could have been better. Dark Shadow should have been better. The Dictator should have been better. Chernobyl Diaries should have been better. As far as I'm concerned, I could have done without Men in Black 3. But solid C+ for the month of May. So, a lot of these movies you could have skipped if you wanted to. So yeah, that sums up May pretty good. Meh. At least you saw the Avengers, right? So, held you over until Prometheus, which we have a lot to discuss with that one. But that's in part 2. So, thanks for watching. This has been part 1. We will have part 2 up here in the next week or so. So, keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.